Hello, St. Matthew. Today we're taking a little break from our trip through the liturgy because we had two parishioners present at the election of Pope Leo. And so I wanted to interview them a little bit about what that was like for them. So welcome, Steve and Noris. How long have you been parishioners at St. Matthew?
5 years.
5 years, okay. And what kind of things do you do here at St. Matthew?
I'm a Eucharistic minister, and I'm in the lay Carmelites as well.
Okay. And Steve?
And I'm a Eucharistic minister. I do some of the readings, and I'm in the choir at Knights of Columbus.
Okay. You were in Rome for the election of the Pope. Did you make a special trip to go out there?
Actually, we were there for the Jubilee this year as it's going on, and it was coincidental, and actually what a blessing. I would like to say we're lucky, but it feels more like a blessing.
Okay. So I hear there was black smoke at first. You were there for the whole conclave, right?
Yes, we were in the St. Peter's Square when the cardinals were marching into the Sistine Chapel, and we were able to see that on great audiovisual, big screen TVs that they had in the square. And we got there around 2:30 in the afternoon, and we saw the black smoke around 9 p.m. So it was a long time standing on that square. Yeah.
I bet you're glad the conclave didn't go too long.
Yes. We were actually very surprised that it happened the second day. We were actually thrilled that we were there.
I bet that was impressive. So what was that moment like when the white smoke finally came?
That was the second day. It was the third time that they had an election, and actually the fourth time. And we were all looking at the chimney. Of course, they had cameras right on the chimney so you could see it, because it was quite a distance, even in the square. And right before the white smoke, a little baby seagull came up to the chimney. The mother came up and started feeding it, and then the father seagull appeared too. So it was baby, mom, and father right next to the chimney, and then the white smoke came out. So it almost felt like...
like the Holy Spirit or the Trinity or something involved.
Yes, definitely the image of the Trinity came to mind.
Nice.
So everybody was looking and saying, oh, how cute, and then the white smoke, it was this roar of just people screaming, whistling, shouting, just joy-filled, flags flying from all different countries. It was exhilarating, and it was a moment we'll never forget.
It was like a release of all the energy that the crowd and that we were feeling. It was like a moment of apprehension because we didn't know what the color of the smoke was going to actually turn out to be when it started coming out, and then it just billowed white, and the crowd was really excited, and we were too, and it was just a pure joy.
Did you have a good spot for the conclave?
We had a great spot. We got there very early, and people kind of scoped out where they were going to be. There were people from all over the world around us. Many of them spoke English. And so, we met people from Australia, Kentucky, LA, Philippines.
Sounds like quite a multicultural event.
Yes, it really was. And at one time, all the flags waving, I thought it was all about, national pride and competition like that. But I really got to realize, and it really touched me, that it was really about the unity of the church around the whole world.
What was it like when the cardinal came out and said, Habemus Papam?
Just everybody, just a roar. It was like a unified congregation. And the plaza filled up even more than it had been before the white smoke, because the Romans all ran in once the bells in the city started ringing. They knew white smoke. And before the Pope Leo came out, it was about an hour, and we got to see the Swiss Guard marching out. The Italian Armed Forces had marching bands that came out.
Wow.
And of course, when Habemus Papam happened, it was just sheer joy.
So what was it like when the Pope came out onto the balcony?
When the Pope came out, Steve and I did not know who he was, but somebody close to us said, he's from Chicago, and that was shocking, and everybody just cheered. And then he said, his name, Leone, and people started, the entire crowd was shouting, Leone, Leone. Of course, we didn't know that was Leo, so it wasn't until the next day that we knew. But he came out and immediately wished us all peace. He spoke in Italian, he spoke a little bit of Spanish, he didn't speak any English, so we were kind of, just listening to a word here and there. And then he led the entire crowd in the Hail Mary.
Okay.
And that was very unifying. Everyone said it in their own language, and it was just absolutely beautiful.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to tell us about your experience and what it was like being there in the square?
I'd have to say that the Pope being American was something that people were really elated about. They were really happy. I mean, genuinely happy. And I asked them why, and they said because, we're a worldwide church, and this just shows it. And look at the crowd here. We're all just as happy as we can be. Sometimes, because of the media, we get down on ourselves in this country. But I'll tell you that as far as it goes for the Pope being elected, everybody they couldn't have been happier.
Oh, it's beautiful. Well, thank you very much, Steve and Noris, for being here with us. Appreciate you telling your story so that we can all hear a little bit about what it was like to be there in the square. I know I was watching on television, but it's not quite the same, I don't think.
Well, thank you for allowing us to share. It's been
awesome.
Great.